Good evening. I'm Darren Ravel of the Action Network, and welcome to another Buyer's Market presented by eBay. We have a great show tonight. We're going to have Jeremy Padawer on, who is invested in Star Wars. He bought series 1 through 5, unopened boxes. Star Wars, you might have thought that that run has gone up and there's no value. Well, think again. We'll talk about that tonight. We'll also give away a 1977 Star Wars Topps card, a sticker signed by the great James Earl Jones, the voice of Darth Vader. We also have NBA Top Shot, what everyone is talking about seemingly every minute. But we have the guy who has the most valuable collection. His name is Whale Shark. He has Whale Vault 1 and Whale Vault 2 in Top Shot, and he spent $150,000. And his Top Shot collection is now worth, wait for it, $76 million, allegedly. Then finally, we're going to go through everything that is March Madness and go on eBay and tell you some of the great values that we're seeing. That's our show tonight, and we're going to kick it right off with Jeremy Padawer talking about Star Wars and why it's still investable. And joining us now is Jeremy Padawer, toy titan and collector extraordinaire. Jeremy, last week we talked about Garbage Pail Kids, and non-sports cards have kind of had a resurgence, or maybe a surgence, right? Because they weren't really recognized as legitimate in the hobby for so long, other than in the moment, right? Like when there was something. And Star Wars, it's very hard to say that Star Wars is under merchandised. I mean, literally behind Pokemon, it's the second biggest franchise of all time. And we always talk about George Lucas cashing in on his piece. So how is it possible that Star Wars became some sort of value at some point?
It's very, very interesting question. And I think it has something to do with the way the collectors sort of conceived of the brand. So if you look at Pokemon, for instance, and like my company's the global master toy partner for Pokemon, but we know that the card business is like the 800-pound gorilla. It's a giant business. Their trading card game is insanely large. It's flipped when it comes to the Star Wars universe. The figural business there has at times been the largest action figure brand in the world, whereas the cards really took a very, very low level second place. Unlike Pokemon, where the toy business is very large. So I find it fascinating that it went under. It sort of was under the covers for that long, and really over the last few months, it's made an enormous, I'm going to say, surgence, like you
Right.
said.
Right. So you have behind you, and we have up on the screen, that is, I don't know if they conceived of that. Very rarely do you find the color of those boxes together is almost like a piece of art. How long did it take for you to, when did you figure out, like, okay, I'm going to do this, and how long did it take? And was there, so there are what, 5 series
That's right.
began in 1977, or are they all in 1977?
So 1977, I believe, through 78. Star Wars released 5 series, and Series 1, for instance, has 66 regular cards and 11 stickers. So it's fascinating. Blue cards, and every single series was just a little bit different from a color perspective, and certainly different from the box color perspective, which makes for a beautiful presentation.
Tell me how you were able to collect these. Was there one that was harder than another?
So yeah, so series 2 through 5, I was very fortunate to find a seller who had them all together as one listing. And I'm finding 2 through 5 are extremely rare and difficult to find regardless, which I find fascinating. But series 1 was very expensive. So interestingly enough, I paid $22,000 pre-tax for series 1, which is the top box that you see there with the red front. Um, that box about a year ago was around $4,000.
Get out of here.
Yeah. So this is one of those situations where I come in later in the game. But the reason why I picked it up as a buy it now at 32 is that I was tracking another box that was selling at auction on eBay, and it went up to 36,000. So as I was sort of done
You
bidding
were
on,
at 22, right?
so yeah, so
Oh,
these two boxes were listed simultaneously. So I
right.
believe one was a PWCC auction and it hit 36,000 and I was like, I'm out. But then I looked and I just listed and there was a brand new listing for 22,000 and I picked it up. I just snapped it right up. Both
There's
BBCP.
people know I like to go for non-sport rookie cards. I believe this would be the first appearance on a card for Harrison Ford. Later was Indiana Jones, which they made a set of, and a couple other movies that he was in. Do you see the cards like Harrison Ford is Han Solo? Those cards individually, do you see those popping, and maybe especially Ford because obviously you have, Mark Hamill or whoever, but like Ford, especially because he went on to do so many other things besides Star Wars.
Definitely. And I think if you look at eBay sold listing, especially at the higher grade, because I believe the last time I checked the pop report, there's not more than like 7% of the total graded that are PSA 10. Those cards are doing exceptionally well. And frankly speaking, if you look at it compared to other major releases over time, I would say it's quite a value considering the space that it does take in terms of the greatest brands of all time.
Now, I assume you're never going to open those. Those are the ones that are in the box. I think what's interesting for people out there is just as everyone assumed factory sets, give you a mint look or you deserve mint. Some of these cards, especially in the 70s, come out horrendous. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
they are so bad.
Yeah, and specifically with the centering, right? So like I have these boxes from like the early 80s that were Donruss golf boxes. And the centering is horrible. There's gum stains.
It's
There's
not, it's like they weren't even trying.
right, yeah. There's inexplicable like impressions on cards occasionally where I don't know what ran across the printer press while it was in the middle of everything. But it was definitely a different time with different standards. There's no question.
All right, so that is on the Star Wars cards. You're definitely up on it. So thank you for doing that. We have a announcement here, and that is that Jeremy and I, as well as a friend Brian Nolan, have purchased a couple of these Amanda Gorman books. Now, we had all seen her on the inauguration, and God, right away you said this woman is going to be a star. And today happens to be her birthday, so she's 23. But there was just an opportunity in terms of how do you invest in her. And sure, Topps had some cards coming out, but the fact that she had a self-published book is just amazing. And when she was 17. So Jeremy, obviously we decided to do this partly just to make a bet. We're a betting company at the Action Network, to make a bet on someone, and this was something that was clearly unique at the time. There were four on eBay, and so we actually didn't know how scarce they were. We just wanted to make a bet, but there were two others. We got four, and we basically haven't seen one since. So we now know how rare it is.
Yeah, and I think it's come as a surprise. I mean, look, I collect first edition, first print books. Picked up the Harry Potter 1 of 500 hardback. I think that the three of us identified that we all would like to have one of these in our collection, and then there's a fourth. And once we figured out how rare these were, we made a decision on the fourth. And what was that, Darren? What was the decision?
So there are a lot of museums right now that are closed. So we haven't been able to get in touch with anyone, but we are going to fully donate one of our copies to a museum, whether it's an African American museum, whether it's something about poetry or the written word. We want this to be in a museum. Uh, Honestly, I probably would stipulate that it does not stay in a case. I want I want this to be read by children and opened up um, in the moment, because even though we have the internet, that doesn't. I want people to be wherever they are and in the moment be able to read it. So I will not mind this, the spine getting cracked or whatever. I don't think we should put it in a piece of glass.
Yeah, look, I think to me, I think, Amanda Gorman should be celebrated and recognized for everything that she means to America. And, to middle-aged guys like ourselves, I think we look at this and go, this is very special. And this is something that represents what we want our kids to grow up in, and not necessarily, the world that we were born into.
Yeah, and I mean, she's just this flat out star. Like she has a contract with IMG Models. She has, William Morris is taking care of her contract stuff. I think she is, as Brian pointed out, she's going to be on a stage at Coachella. She is much more than I will get a poet laureate position at Harvard, where she went to school. It's more like she is going to be a performer, and I think
Yeah.
Lin-Manuel Miranda has certainly inspired her, and I think gives her a lane that previously wasn't there. So listen, the Topps cards, besides Bernie Sanders, she had more Topps cards sold than Joe Biden from the election. So I think the popularity is really there for her. And by the way, her first three books, which I think the first one comes out at the end of March, a million books is the initial print, which is just, I mean, how many people for their first book who had not really achieved previous fame got a million copies? That says something about her.
It does. It says a lot. And you know what? She's going to sell out. That's the best part. I don't even think you can print enough in terms of the demand, because why? Because we all want our children to celebrate her, and we're all interested in what she has to say. And I think that she has come upon the scene in such a remarkable way. And look, I'm personally thrilled and proud to own one of her first edition books. And I think that the bigger component here is that she's going to be important and on the scene and culturally relevant probably for generations.
So happy birthday, Amanda, and we got your back and we're rooting for you. Thanks, Jeremy, for joining us for talking Star Wars and Amanda Gorman. And obviously, I'll be texting you, seeing you on Clubhouse, seeing you everywhere, since we are both addicted to this game. Thank you, Jeremy Padower, great memorabilia investor, and it's fascinating that there is still room to grow and go on Star Wars. Reminding you, we have a giveaway. We are giving away a 1977 Topps Star Wars sticker of Darth Vader of James Earl Jones, signed by James Earl Jones, a $500 value. Please retweet the Action Network tweet and make sure you're following the Action Network. Well, everyone's talking about Top Shot and the lottery ticket that you apparently win and then can immediately sell. A lot of people making a lot of money on Top Shot, but the guy who has the greatest, most valuable collection is a guy who spent $150,000 early on, and now his collection is worth $76 million, at least according to one site. He is Whale Shark. He has Whale Vault 1 and Whale Vault 2, and his story is beyond fascinating. He joins us tonight incognito. All right, joining us now is the man known as Whale Vault 1 and Whale Vault 2 on NBA Top Shot. He is dressed up awesomely as being anonymous. You are coming from a different country here, and tell us why you're look at that, why you're incognito.
So, because of the amount of investments that I make, and once again, on behalf of the Whale community that we make into the non-fungible token space, we do like to make sure that I remain pseudo-anonymous, just for safety and security reasons. But again, many people have seen me, many people do know me in the space, but we do try to take these precautions, particularly when you see the amount of valuation that these assets are getting.
So, and this is your real voice, right?
This is my real voice, my friend. It is 12 midnight here, but this is my voice. This is my normal voice.
Okay, so one site says your combined holdings as Whale Vault 1 and Whale Vault 2 in Top Shot is $76 million. First of all, what do you think about that?
I think that The NBA Top Shot project itself really did revolutionize the total collectible game. Now, given that it is a ton of interest flowing into the space at a single time, and honestly speaking, I think this is the tip of the iceberg in terms of what is to come, given the 0.1% of potential collectors that are coming into the space. I fully believe we are going to see ebb and flows in the market. But NBA Top Shots is definitely one of those projects that I see surviving the bear market, surviving the bull market, and actually thriving into mainstream as we move forward.
I think that's been one of the issues in that the people who originally came in are so bullish that it is beyond absurd. The whenever someone says it can only go up, I mean, it that just seems to be no matter what market you're in, that seems to be an issue. So you're the guy who has the most money to gain or lose right now in the number one position among accounts, and you're saying I think the idea is good, will hold out, but I don't expect it to go up forever.
Absolutely, Darren. I think nothing goes up forever, and anything goes up must come down. I've been actually tweeting a lot about some of these investments in the tokenized space, and I'll repeat it here again. So someone asked me what was the bear case for non-fungible tokens, right? My answer was 99.99% of existing projects today will not be commercially viable when mainstream adoption comes in. Then after that, I stated what is the bull case. The bull case is 99.99% of projects that exist in the space today are not going to be commercially viable when mass market comes in. So really right now, it's really about investing in that 0.01% of projects that are really going to pull through the bull market, going to ride the bear market, and then continue to thrive as this gets mainstream adoption. And I do believe that Top Shots is one of those, but I don't expect it to continually escalate in the way that it has been so far.
How much of a transparent market do you think it is? Obviously the criticism is that because of fraud and concerns over fraud, and originally, as Rohem Gergozlu, the CEO of Dapper that runs Top Shot, told us, the head of product was originally also the head of fraud, which becomes a problem when you have to withdraw money and there's a person who only has 24 hours in a day. But there are some people who say that it's artificially inflated because of the lack of being able to take money out of the marketplace. What is your thoughts on that?
So my understanding on the illiquidity of your liquid money, I guess on Flow at the moment, is really mainly due to some of the technical difficulties that they're facing. And once again, my understanding is, as any other collector in the space, that's simply because they want to make sure that they're having the KYC and AML, regulations in place, that there has been this delay. Now, given
that is for lay people, that's basically the standard fraud take in, take out money, especially when you're changing over, if it's a crypto to dollars, right?
That is absolutely correct, my friend. And I think, again, Flow was not just built for NBA Top Shot. It was built for all of the wonderful upcoming projects, whether that's the UFC, whether that is Dr. Seuss. I can't wait for that one, by the way, Green Eggs and Ham. And then after that, things like Warner Brothers Music, which are all partners on this platform. So I really do believe, and knowing Roem from a couple of panels that I've sat with him on, they are very genuine about some of the problems that they're facing. And I know it can be very frustrating for a lot of people on there. But yeah, I do think that with the vision that they have for Flow, ultimately all of these KYC and AML regulations really do need to be resolved so that everyone can get their money out as quickly as they are on other blockchains.
So in order to have 76 million, what do you put in and when? I assume that number was a couple $1,000,000. When did you put it in? Have you been continually buying? What's the total investment? And if that were real money and you could withdraw it now, what do you think you'd be net up?
Darren, total amount, and this might surprise you, total amount invested in this project, 150,000 US dollars when they first launched.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Shut the front door.
Yes, my friend. $150,000 in fiat when they first launched. So my story is actually pretty unique because, again, and I like to think of myself as a savvy investor in the digital physical collectible space. I saw the immediate, parallel that you could draw between traditional sport collectibles and this being the next generation of sport digital collectibles with all of the benefits of, it doesn't take up physical space. There's no physical degradation. They leverage the digital canvas to have animation and videos rather than just a plain 2D static card. So I went, honestly, I went pretty hard in at 150,000. What happens was after that initial launch, after all the traders have traded everything that they wanted, a lot of people were looking to exit because back then Ethereum was going at a bull run. What I ended up doing, initially I invested probably about $100,000, and then after that,
that was in earnest. What, September of 2020?
I think it was sometime in I think it was sometime in July or August.
Okay.
I think
Yep.
it might have been
around
September.
there. Yep.
But the opportunity came out to use $50,000 to acquire another collector's, and I think he was like the third or fourth largest collector in the space back then. His entire collection, which also included the #1 base set LeBron. Just thinking about it, I mean, #1 base set LeBron, and it's only relatively speaking, it's only $50,000. I think just acquiring that entire collection, that card is worth it just by itself, right? So it really was a no-brainer. I was very lucky to be able to have that sort of a deal, and the other collector was extremely respectful and nice about it. But that is the way that we actually took $150,000 and rolled it up to the 76 million that it's valued up today.
So you say we, are you part of a consortium of some sort?
So what people don't know is that actually I collect for a community. So I collect for a community. We collect not only NBA Top Shot, but we are also one of the largest collectors of digital art. So tokenized digital art. We are the largest holders of digital land, as well as many other gaming assets in the space. So what we did is we created a social token that represents all of the value of our collection, and we give it away to the community as incentives for them to drive the NFT community moving forward.
So you're not like taking management fees, and people aren't investing in a fund, so to speak.
Not at all. Not at all. It's a zero-sum game for myself. All of the assets that you see in what we call the Whale Vault have been collected by me since July 2019. And I donated that to the community in May of 2020.
Wow. So there are people, are there certain people who were given, is it all allocated?
It's not all allocated. So what we do is we have a total of 10,000 tokens, and every single month we distribute 40,000. Total is 10 million tokens, and every single month we distribute 40,000 tokens to our community members for absolutely free. We've never sold, and this token is called Whale. So we've never sold any whale. We've never profited from any whale. We just distribute it to the tokenized or a non-fungible token community, so that they can also share in this collection and be incentivized to do bigger things in the space.
And what does someone have to do to get a whale token?
The main thing is they just have to join the Discord. So we have a Discord,
discord.gg. What, to lay people? I gotta keep bringing it back.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that, my friend. So Discord is actually a chatting program. It's a very good chatting program, and it has a lot of communities, particularly around crypto, as well as gaming. Actually, it's very popular among gamers as well. So all people have to do is actually enter our Discord, and then after that, we have things that we call airdrops, where we'll just drop the whale, and people can click a button to receive it, or they can participate in any of our competitions that we hold every single month. Right now, we're sponsoring a $1,000 a week NBA Top Shot fantasy league with Swish, and it's free to enter as long as you have the NBA Top Shot cards to join in.
How much do you know? Roham says that you need to know something about basketball, but I'd argue that the Top Shot highlight is basically just a placeholder for the math, so to speak, right? This is LeBron's first. You got to know it's the first. You got to know it's out of 49. This is a cosmic or whatever, right? Like, it's almost like a placeholder. You don't need, in fact, I don't know if you even believe that a good highlight equals good money. So what are you good at other than getting in first with the most money?
So Oh, so I'm very good at analytics. Very good at looking at market trends. So initially, my career was started off by doing actually market trend analysis. And I guess once again, trying to be as humble as possible, but I believe I'm pretty good at drawing parallels between the traditional and the digital world. Once again, however, very lucky to be in the place and in the time that I am today. Now, given that, I played basketball all my life. I love basketball. I'm more of a player than a watcher or a fan.
Hey, what
But
what
yeah,
what level? High school, college?
oh, high school, just high school basketball. But again, throughout my life, back in college, I actually went to college in Philly. Used to play basketball 5 to 6 hours a day in the gym
Get
down
out
there.
of here.
Yeah. I love half court pickup games. Love them.
Oh my God, get at so when Rohan was saying you need to know basketball, I was like, you don't need to know basketball, but you actually would claim you need to at least love it, right?
You have to love it. You have to. And Darren, this is the main thing about collecting any NFTs, right? If you want to invest it from an investment perspective, there is always going to be that risk. But if you love what you're collecting, then go ahead and collect it, because whether or not that market goes up or market goes down, you're going to still love whether that's the digital cards that you collected or the digital art that you collected. 10, 20 years down the road, you're still going to have that and you're still going to like it. So I think that's very important, Darren, what you brought up just now.
You said that if you enjoy it, you shouldn't have to worry about it. And one of the things that people have hit on, and potentially it's just because it's just at the nascent stage, is that I did a Twitter poll and 83% of people said they were collecting Top Shot because of the money and the flip instead of enjoying collecting, versus 41% of people who are owning physical cards and getting back into it and saying they were enjoying collecting. Now, that might be because of one's new, one's not, but also we are in this crazy world of flipping, of crypto, of memorabilia, of sports betting. And there's this high intensity, probably driven by COVID and our need for dopamine to replace normal human interactions. So my question to you is, could Top Shot itself be a bubble along with NFTs, et cetera, because of our need to flip and get that energy, and then once that stops or turns, that first bull market, everyone just flees? How much do you think people like Top Shot versus people just like the money of being able to get a $99 pack and all of a sudden flip a highlight for 6,000?
So I think that's a very warranted and excellent question. I think the first thing that we all have to realize is that a lot of the initial people or the initial collectors who entered into Top Shot were actually also legacy crypto enthusiasts, right? And
Right. So
basically
that means that they're playing with house money to start, essentially.
that is correct. They have a lot of house money to start, and they also bring that trading mentality to the projects that they invest in. I've always said, and I have a lot of respect for flippers or traders. I'm a collector myself. I've collected over 210,000 NFTs, Darren. I've never sold a single one. Never sold a single
Get
one.
out of
Right?
here.
Yeah. Yes, my friend. Never sold a single one. But I think there again, I've said this before. Even directly to traders, I think we're two sides of the same coin. Because if you don't have collectors, you don't have stability. If you don't have flippers, you don't have liquidity, right? So I think we're all two sides of the same coin. But moving into NBA Top Shot specifically, I can tell you that a lot of the original collectors have already sold off the majority of their most valuable assets. And what I'm seeing in the space is people that are truly enthusiastic, not only about the NBA, but also about NBA Top Shot as a project itself. So I think we are going to see that shift in terms of flipper to true collector. And honestly, I love seeing all of those highlight reels of people talking about their Top Shot collection. It just really warms the heart because that's more aligned with what I'm doing over here.
What is your favorite Top Shot that you
My
own?
most expensive Top Shot or my favorite Top Shot?
Let's go favorite first, and why.
I have the number one Steph Curry from the Holo Drop. So that is my favorite Top Shot.
Oh my God, it's a behind the ball pass.
That's correct. But
So
again, I
that's
know Steph.
one out of 50.
That is 1 out of 50, and I know again Steph is famous for his 3-pointers. You know, I've been following the Golden State Warriors since 2015 when they had their Cinderella run. Again, while I'm more of a player than a fan of the of players, you know, he was just really inspiring during that point in time. And I just love, you know, I just love Steph Curry as a person and as a player. So that's probably one of that. While it is not the most valuable card that we do own, this is by far my favorite moment.
What is that worth right now?
I think the last time I checked, and one of the sites is down at the moment, I do believe that this is worth roughly about $700,000.
Oh my God. So this is never, well, because you have the one, right? So the record is 208,000, but you haven't sold it. So I get it.
Yep.
Now, what's the most,
can
you run for me what the most valuable one you have is?
Yep. Can you take a guess in terms of which player is going to be?
Oh God, please don't tell me it's Zion. I mean,
no, it's not Zion.
Then it's got to be LeBron.
That is correct. It
so
is LeBron.
Let me guess what it is.
Okay, all right.
It's the LeBron Kobe tribute dunk number 23.
I think we actually have a card that's actually more expensive than that one.
Okay,
and
but
once
do
again,
you have
I love
number 23.
Yes, I do, my friend. So I am going to show you a number 23 moment here. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can find it. There we go. And then let me share this on the screen here. So this is the LeBron James original dunk Cosmic Series 1, number 23 out of 49. And I am going to share that with you right now. There we go.
Oh my God. This is the most expensive, you think?
This is the most expensive one that I own right now.
Right.
You know, again, I think the market is still working out the different prices on each player as in each set. Dude, that's a
so this
that's a beautiful moment.
This is the version of the dunk that went for 208,000, but not the actual number, right? So is that correct? This is a version of one of the ones, the one that broke the record, but you have number 23.
I have number 23, and the only other card, again, that, you know, back in the day when we did get this card, I think the Top Shot guys were saying this is among the top 3 favorite cards that they've ever minted, or top 3 favorite moments that they've ever minted. I think the only one, and you can weigh in on this, Darren, in collectibles, and you know, again, I don't collect a lot of sports cards. Do you think that the number 1 is the serial number number 1 is the most valuable, or do you think that the jersey number is the most valuable?
I think in Top Shot the jersey number is.
Yep.
Because I think it's harder to earn, even though, like, it's harder to nail, right? Like, it's not really, right? It's the odds are the odds, but I actually like the I like the jersey number. I think that's great. So, like, part of me wanted you to be a guy who was like going to take the $76 million and, you know, run off into the sunset. Like, are you just a philanthropic type of guy, or what do you do to make money instead of making money for other people and giving it away?
So honestly speaking, before I became an entrepreneur, I was lucky enough to work for a leading marketing brand consulting firm. Eventually worked my way up from analyst to the vice president of Asia. At that point in time, I actually started to dabble in crypto, while at the same time starting up an artificial intelligence business with a friend in San Diego. So my core business has actually always been artificial intelligence. But essentially what happened was I got so enamored with crypto and NFTs that, you know, today I have awesome teams running those businesses so that I get to spend my time on this. And Darren, I think we all know at a certain point of time, you know, the dollar amount in your bank account really doesn't make it, the incremental value of that dollar amount really doesn't make any sense anymore. So for me, you know, being able to dedicate my time to doing this, it's just so much more fulfilling.
Amazing. This is such a surprise for me. I came in with basically nothing other than a valuation, and I did not expect it to take this turn. As a person who covers the business of sports, it's so capitalistic and so obviously, like, that's the ideal. And now I made $75 million, you know, and so it's pretty crazy. Is there a name for a Are you a NFT philanthropist? Like, is there a name
I,
you've come up with for
I'm
giving the definition of building a fund of NFTs and giving it away?
so far I've been hiding under the title of a social entrepreneur. I have been taking steps to move towards being able to call myself a philanthropist, right? I think there is necessary things that one has to do to be able to earn the use of that title. And just to put some numbers to it, when we started off this collection and this token, the price of the token was only 15 cents. Today, it's worth $22. So imagine every single person that had, accumulated the whale token over that period of time. It's really changed a lot of lives all over the world because now one token can actually feed a person for an entire day.
And let me ask you a
Mhm.
question. Is that merely what did you originally say? A million token? How many tokens
Uh,
out there?
there are 10 million tokens in
10 million
total.
tokens, but that it's $22 by virtue of that fund being worth 220 million now.
So yes, that is correct. So I guess the price action is determined by the people who buy and sell that token among each other, and the market capital of this total project that they've decided that it is through fair market mechanism is $220 million. And we just started this 10 months ago. Um, but there, in addition to that, over the last 10 months, I talked about distributing to the community. So over the last, excuse me, 10 months, we've distributed about $7 million to people in the community, as well as, podcasts in the NFT space that were really building out the NFT space before it got all this attention.
My question is, do you have a responsibility to make calls now on Top Shot? In other words,
Mhm.
now that I'm thinking about it, right? Like, if you're to build the token, do you call this a start of a bear market, and do you sell out? But then you juxtapose that with, you want people to support the NFT community. So it seems to me like that's a pickle.
So I'll speak to the Top Shot collection specifically, but here's another brain twister for you. I don't have any control or direct control over any of the assets in the vault. Essentially, what we did was we used this token as a voting mechanism so that the community can vote on what we do with every single asset that we own. So I'm personally not allowed to say, hey, I think it's a bear market now, I'm going to sell the number 23 LeBron, right? It would have to be put through a community vote to be able to do that.
And
Now,
nothing has been sold so far.
nope. Community has been very good about not selling anything whatsoever. And when it comes to Top Shot, again, I think this is the very first time that sport collectibles were placed on the blockchain in a high quality manner, with a truly mainstream user experience. The holding time frame or the investment time frame for us on these assets, we're looking at 10 to 20 years, right? The token itself and the project itself has no loans, no liabilities, no debt. So essentially, that holding power is for as long as we want it to be for.
Yeah, it's unencumbered by any outside force.
Correct. Absolutely. And again, if going back to your point on the original value, given the fact that we invested originally 150,000 and now it's worth 75 million, naturally we can be profit takers and say, oh no, it's going to go down to 50 million or 40 million. But that drop from 150,000 to where it is right now, I just there's no way that the community has made a loss in this investment that we love very much.
The Whale Vault 1, Whale Vault 2, whoever this man is behind NBA Top Shot's most valuable account. This has been one of the most fascinating interviews of my career, and the learning curve for me between last month and this month, when I didn't know what an NFT stood for, to getting to the point where I actually understood everything you were saying. I'm proud of myself. Can I pat myself on the back?
Darren, you are an official inductee to the NFT Hall of Fame, my friend. You did perfectly.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
I appreciate it. I had a lot of fun. Thank you so much, Darren.
Thank you, Mr. Whale. That was probably one of the most fascinating interviews of my life. Okay, so we have one more shot at the giveaway. It's a 1977 Topps James Earl Jones Darth Vader signed card or sticker. You have to retweet our tweet about it on the Action Network HQ Twitter feed and be following us. All right, so it is March Madness. It's finally upon us after a year away. Everyone at the Action Network is all geared up to give you your best picks. My other job, aside from talking about memorabilia, make sure you check it out. But I'm going to give you my best picks right now on eBay. We are going to start with, these are, by the way, all available right now, a Duke signed basketball, Mike Krzyzewski and Grant Hill. Um, I love Krzyzewski. He signs a lot, actually, and not everyone can have this amazing Christian Laettner turnaround shot signed. I'm very proud of that. There's also some rings on eBay right now. You can get a Xavier ring from their conference championship 30 years ago. That's another one that's out there that inspires some March Madness. How about a chair? Even the generic chair that you see, that might be a nice thing for the man cave. Doesn't seem like it's that pricey. There's also, and everyone knows I like tickets. I love tickets. This is the semifinals and the finals ticket together from 1982 when Michael Jordan, of course, in the finals hit that almost last second shot. I think there was 13 or 17 seconds left on the clock when North Carolina won. But it's interesting you get both here. The seller wants $25,000. Probably bring that down a little bit, considering I paid on eBay $1,000 while back for the just the final ticket. And then finally, as Michigan looks to take a #1 seed, potentially, depends on what happens in the next couple days. But we're talking about the Fab Five again. And unfortunately for Chris Webber, we're talking about his timeout. And this is the timeout ticket. I have one. Pretty cool item. It's one of those, especially if you're in between 35 and 45. You remember where you were when he called the timeout. That was not allowed and led to the sealing of the deal. So that is our show tonight. I am giving away the James Earl Jones 1977 Top Star Wars card to Cody Malstrom, K Malstrom on Twitter. Congratulations to you, Cody. For Evan Abrams and Christina Ventura and everyone at the Action Network, this has been the Buyer's Market, sponsored by eBay. I'm Darren Ravel. Until next time, good night.